So today I wanted to talk about the latest Tesla technology available for speedrunners, which is the save manipulation. It's the latest route change. Right now it's been 1 month since we started to use it in the runs, so I think it will be pretty interesting to explain it. Because when you watch a speedrun and suddenly the screen goes black and you don't really know what's happening, that's maybe a bit strange if you don't know about the save manipulation. So, Teslagrad handles up to 6 save slots. In the code they all have a number, so this is the first one, number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And the goal of the save manipulation is to write save data in a wrong save file, in a wrong save slot. So let me just show you a little bit what was the final product, what you can do with save manipulations. So here I have the save slot number 1 with the king. So if I load it, I am in the corridor right before the final boss. I have all my equipment and, well, yeah, I can try to fight him. So that's my save file number 1. If you watch, that's the save file number 1, and all the others are empty. So now I'm going to load this save file, do a little bit of menuing, so go back, do something like this. I will wander around, like a magician that tried to do some kind of diversion, so you don't see the magic trick. I will go back to the main menu, and now you will notice that a second save file that was empty before is now at the king. And if I load it, I have Teslakid without any item. You can see there is no cape, no Teslastuff, I cannot punch. You can see on the inputs at the bottom of the screen, I try to blink, I try to cape, I try to punch. I can't do anything. So, well, I can try to fight the boss, but yeah, that's no match. So this is what does the save manipulation looks like. We have written some data in the wrong save file, and here's the data we have written is the position of Teslakid. So to understand what's going on, we need to talk a little bit about what's happening when you load a save and what's happening when you save your save file. So, as I said, Teslagrad has 6 save slots. These save slots are saved on your drive. So there are physical files that are stored on your drive in the app data folder if you're on Windows. So for example, here I have one. Let me show you right here. This is what a save file looks like. So it's a .asset file, but in reality it's a YAML format. We are not going to explain everything, just you can pretty much read a little bit what it does. So here, for example, that's the first save file I had. So I had the glove, it's 1 if I got it, 0 if I don't get it. I have the blink boots, etc. So here are the items, here are the defeated bosses, and there are a couple of other things, like what's important here, the scene index, which is which map needs to be loaded when we load the save file. So here the map was the corridor before the king, and the checkpoint index, which is in this map, which checkpoint do I need to place Teslakid at. So one map can have multiple checkpoints, and so the checkpoint index is which checkpoint do the game need to place Teslakid. And so when you load a save file, so right here I load the king, the game does multiple things. First, the screen fades to black, then the game loads the map at the given scene index, then the screen fades in, so the game fades in, and we can control Teslakit. So, fades to black, loads the map, and fades in. In reality, there is a fourth step that happens right when the map is loaded. It's that the game needs to remember which one of the save slots have been selected. So every time this file needs to be saved, it can save in the proper save slot. So in reality, the game fades to black. The game remembers which save slot have been loaded. So here's the save slot number 1. The map loads and then fade in. And normally, it's not possible to change that current save file slot. Because you see, when I try to load the save, you can see, let me change the scene really quick. I will cut that in the video. Okay. So if you watch at the bottom of the screen, I will try to move during the fade to black to try to change my save file, but it won't be possible. So here, I can try to do anything. I cannot interfere with that process. So once we are in the game, the game will save the file when we touch specific triggers. So here, for example, right where am I, there is a checkpoint trigger. And every time I touch it, the game will save. So the checkpoint index and the scene index for a checkpoint, these two values of the save file will be written in the current save file slot. So here, I selected the first save file. Every time I touch the checkpoint, here I touch it, here I touch it, here I touch it. Every time I touch it, the game will save in the first save file, the one I selected, the checkpoint data. So checkpoint index and scene index. There are a lot of triggers, of different triggers in the game that triggers different save data. For example, when you take the boots, for example, the game will only save your current items. So the little 0 and 1s that we saw previously. There are a lot of little triggers like this. Scrolls are triggers. Every time you push a button in the tower to open a gate, that's a trigger. Stuff like that. Everything that is saved in your save file have specific triggers in-game to trigger the save. And every time one of these saves occurs, the game checks for the current save file, so the one you selected, and saves in that save file that specific data. So maybe that's a little bit obscure, because triggers are normally invisible, so well, you cannot see it. Fortunately, excuse me, I have a hacked version of the game that I will use to display these checkpoints. So let me just quickly change that. Okay, now I reload the game. Okay, so now I reloaded the game with that hack. And if I load the same save file, now you can see the checkpoint. So all these invisible triggers that you normally cannot see, here you can see that there is the checkpoint. And so every time I cross the checkpoint, the game saves my save file in the slot I selected. So this is how it normally happens. But obviously something fishy is going on, and we have found a way to manipulate in which save file all this data is going to be written. So, as I showcased a couple of minutes ago, normally when you are in the menu, you have to wait for the animation of the menu to do something. For example, here I click on load, but I cannot select I can't select a file until all the panels just show on the screen, you know? Like, if you can watch the inputs at the bottom of the screen, I will mash the right button, but the game won't allow me to go right until the animation of the panels is finished. So, right now. First the panel come, and then we can do something. And when you load a save file, in the same manner, your inputs are locked. So here I can do anything. Once I pressed the load save file button, I cannot do anything. But for some reason, when you first go into the menu, there is a couple of seconds there is a couple of seconds where you can actually move freely, and you cannot your movement in the menu cannot be prevented. So if I go back to the menu, for a couple of seconds you will see that I can do pretty much whatever I want. So here, you see, I didn't have to wait for the panels to come in place. I could do those little left-right really early. Now that the couple of seconds have passed, I have to wait. So here, left, right, I cannot do anything during the loading. But if you are fast enough, you can load a save file, then go to another save file, and finally load that save file before your inputs are locked. So for example, I go to the main menu, load the first, go to the third, and load it. You could hear 2 times the save selection sound. And here the screen is a little bit messed up. So this is also why I wanted to do that on the hacked version, because sometimes the screen is completely black. But you can still see that I can play the game normally. And I can touch the checkpoint. So here what's happening is that I loaded one save file and selected another save file before the loading was finished. And so if you do that with a proper timing, you will be able to load the first save file and then change your current save file. And so all the trigger you will touch will be written in the wrong save file. So here, for example, I will load the king, go back to the main menu, and I will load the king, change the current save file to the third save file, which is actually at home, and I will be able to touch that checkpoint to update the wrong save file. So instead of home, I will be at the king. So load the first, and here you hear again the sound of the loading save file. So here I'm still in the castle, but my current save file is now the slot number 3 because I pressed enter. That override the current save file. And so now when I touch the checkpoint data, so scene index and checkpoint index, will be written in the third save file instead of the first one. So if I go back to the main menu, now the third save file is at the king. So if you want to test this, you really need to be careful to select the second save file after the map loading, and so during the fade in, because you can overwrite the current save file only during the fade in and not the fade out or the map loading. So the timing is a little bit precise, and if you do it too late, well, the menu will despawn and you won't be able to select another save file. So there is a little timing, but you can do that kind of thing. So that was for the checkpoint data, but you can do this with pretty much every data that is written. And during the speedrun, we do that with the item pickup data. So let me just change my save files to reproduce what we have in a speedrun.
A few hours later.
In a speedrun, we have a configuration like this. So we are at the cooling room, so right after furnace. We didn't pick up the blink boots yet. And we have set up a save manipulation on another save slot before in the run, that is at the well. So this is at the well, and Teslakid doesn't have any item. So normally it's more here. So we set up here by manipulating the checkpoint data like we did earlier. And in our run, we are right here. So we respawn here after beating furnace. And what we do in a speedrun is we grab the boots while avoiding the checkpoint. So here there is a checkpoint, but something that is not shown is that there is also an item pickup trigger. So when you touch the item pickup trigger, the game gives you the boots, and when you touch the checkpoint, the game updates the checkpoint value, so the checkpoint index. So when you reset, you are still at the boots. And so what we do in a speedrun is that we only touch the item pickup, so the save file receives the boots, but we don't touch the checkpoint, and so we can save and quit and reload the well. So let's do that. So I go to the main menu, load the cooling room, and during the fade-in, load the well. So I'm still at the cooling room. You can see all the little triggers are still there, but my current save file is the one at the well. And so now I can maneuver blindfolded. In a run, obviously, you don't have all these little indicators. And I can touch here only the item pickup trigger. So you can see at the top right of the screen, the little boots appeared saying that I have grabbed the boots, but I didn't touch the checkpoint. And so now, if I come back to the main menu, the well save file has the gloves and the boots. And so we can continue the run without having to backtrack. So that's pretty much the save manipulation glitch and how it's used in a run. There are other usage you can do of the save manipulation glitch in different categories. There is another usage in any %, and probably a ton of other usages in 100%, because basically the goal of the save manipulation glitch is to set up a checkpoint to avoid backtracking. So here we didn't have to do all the way back to the well because we just could teleport our save file to it. There is one last little thing that you need to know about the save manipulation glitch. Maybe you noticed that the first manipulation glitch I did, the screen wasn't dark, and now sometimes it is. So for example, let's do this one again. And now I will save manipulation the 4th slot. So I load this one and select the 4th one. So here you have heard the little sound, the button press sound. I can touch the checkpoint, but the screen is not black. So I touch the checkpoint, and now I will have here the 4th save file at the well, but the screen didn't turn black. But if I do it again with the same save file, so now the screen turns to black. So maybe you can wonder why does that happen, and it is really simple. In Teslagrad, when you load an empty save file, it's just the beginning cutscene that will play. The game will not fade to black like it does for an existing save file, but it's just the intro cinematic that will play. And however, if I load an existing save file, as I said, the screen fades to black. So that's exactly what is happening here. Since I select another save file during the fade-in of the previous save file, if I select an empty save file, the screen will stay clear, the fade-in will continue. But if I select an existing save file, the fade-in will be cancelled by the new fade-out to black. But since the game cannot load the map because, well, we are already in a map, the fade-in never happened for the second save file, so we are totally in the dark. So let me just show you that one more time. Main menu, I select the second save file, the first one. During the fade-in, I click, and so the game fades out. And since it cannot load the map, well, the game never fades in. And I can play like this, because I'm still in the game, but it's completely dark. And here I die. We'll need to totally reload 100% with this glitch map. Totally, I'm pretty sure you can do crazy stuff. Obviously, so the data you can write in the save file are checkpoint data. You can write, as we saw, the item pickup data. You can write scroll data. You can write all the trigger data. Pretty much a lot of things. And yeah, that's the latest glitch that we had found in the speedrunning community. Actually, it's not the latest finding, because technically we know about this glitch for like 1 or 2 years. But until 1 month ago, we didn't know how to use it in a run, because technically I demonstrated at the very beginning that I was able to teleport to the king, but you cannot really do that in a speedrun because, well, you are not supposed to have a save file to the king ready. So in a speedrun, we didn't really know how to use it. And for the little funny story, I'm the one who found the usage in the any percent category, and it's pretty funny how it happened, because I was watching a video about the back-in-time glitch in the 3D Zeldas, most notably in Skyward Sword, and the speedrunner Gymnast86 was explaining the back-in-time glitch, so what it is and what it was used for in the Zelda speedruns. And it's pretty much the same idea in the back-in-time glitch. You can create a save file of a previous location and then transfer some data to that save file so you can continue, and it avoids backtracking. And so yeah, I heard that explanation, and Gymnast86 explained how it was used to reduce the backtracking, and I remembered about the save manipulation glitch, and I was like, but yeah, we have some little backtracking in the 80% category, so maybe we can use the save manipulation glitch exactly how the Zelda community used the back in time. And I tested it and it works. So that's a really good example of how glitches in other games can be used, and the logic of glitches in other games can be used in Teslagrad or in pretty much any game. And that's why it's really important to try to learn a lot about glitches in general and stuff like that in general, and not game-specific tricks, because you can always apply that kind of knowledge to pretty much all the game you want to glitch hunt hit in. So yeah, that was a really cool finding. Yeah, that's the latest route change. Until the next. That's it for the save manipulation glitch. I think I have say everything.